Hello everyone, welcome to Main Lab Studies. In this video, I'm going to share one of the interview case study that was asked in recent data engineering interview. The interview pattern of data engineers has been changing. The interviewers are giving different kinds of data as per their real world projects and asking candidates to solve different kinds of problems by giving different kinds of use cases. In this video, I'm going to share one of that case study by taking a customer's purchase data. I hope you have already gone through our previous videos where I already discussed how to read the data, how we can explore the data, right? Now we will see one by one. So before starting to getting the data, the interviewers are giving this kind of data through, they are going to share this data through mail ID or whatever it could be, the possible ways. And we have to download that and we have to save that in our local storage. Okay. Now we have to read the data with the help of pandas. And before that, we have to import the library, that is pandas library. Import pandas as PD. Okay. Now we have to read the data, right? So and before that, we need to ensure that where is the data is locating, right? So we have to copy that file path. Now you can see here in my desktop, we have customers purchase file, right? Now you can see this is a CSV format. This file is in CSV format, right? I'm just copying the file path. Now you can see how we can read the data. I'm just considering any variable like customer data equal to, how can we read that? That is pd dot read underscore CSV of file path, right? Now you can see this is a file path. Now if I execute this query, this statement, we'll get some errors. Let's see that. You can see what is this error? Because of these slashes has to be forward, right? Not backward. So we have to change. Okay. Now if I execute, it got executed, right? Now I'm just calling this data customer data. Now you can see here, this is the data we have considering as customers purchase. Okay. Now we have to go through this data and the interviewers are just giving this kind of data and we have to read the data in the first step. After that, there are some interviewers also asking different kind of questions. Like in the first question, they have to ask, they will be asking like, go through this data and explain each insight what you have observed, right? And the next step, they are going to ask to return different kinds of reports from this given data. Okay, or else the interviewer will say like, you just go through this data and whatever the possible insights that you can extract, you just extract all those things, and what are the possible reports that you can generate, you have to generate and just explain all those things. Okay, by writing all Python scripts with the help of this pandas library. Okay, so we will start one by one. Now, if you observe this data, we have a given data set like customer purchase behaviors, like having different columns. This data frame having different columns that you can see: transaction IDs, user IDs, purchase date, item ID, quantity of purchase, item price, category, and discount of purchases. Discount is for each transaction, right? So we have to analyze this data by writing different kinds of code to return the data, right? We have to extract different kinds of insights. Okay. Now, first, what are the columns we have? How can we return? By writing customer, by calling columns, right? Now you can see these are the columns we have in this particular data frame, right? Now we can see here one by one. We'll go through one by one. How many transaction IDs are there? How many users are there? Right? Like how many items are there? Right? Total quantity purchased, right? And then how many categories are there? Right? Now each transaction wise, what is the total amount? That means quantity of purchase and item price, right? So that is how we can return the basic insights. Okay, let's do one by one. Now this is customer data, right? Now we have to find number of transaction. You can see here transaction ID is there, right? Now we'll see transaction ID. We are returning only that particular column, right? I hope you observing it is getting some, I think you're observing it is taking too much time, right? So as in when, if you find the sometime it is taking means it is going to return some error. What is the error here? If you observe carefully, transaction ID is getting error keyword, right? You can see here, this is the transaction ID, right? But I'm using transaction underscore ID. So that's why it is returning error. Okay. Now you can see we are returning all transaction IDs, right? So if you use count, it is going to return how many transactions are there. Total of 100 transactions are there, right? Now in order to find how many same transaction are there, is there any duplicates or not, we can also find it, right? By writing here customer data, I already copied it. Now you can see if I use n unique, that's going to return how many unique transactions are there, right? Those are 100. So if you observe this data, all transactions are unique. there are 100 of transactions are there. All are unique transactions. Okay. Now you can see, even if you want to know what are the unique transaction IDs also, you can return by writing customer data of transaction ID by writing unique. If you write only unique, that will return only the unit transaction IDs, right? So similarly, you can return for whatever the columns are there, like user IDs, how many users are there, how many unique users are there, right? Number of unique users, we can also return, right? Similarly, items and item category also we can find it. Okay. Now you can see, similarly, we can return all. So by writing individually, it will take more time, right? So that is the reason I'm just considering at a time all. I'm going to return all at a time. Okay. By writing columns, what are the columns that we want to extract? Will we have to mention? Okay. First one, transaction ID, right? So we can also write like this, but it will take too much time, right? For each, it will take too much time by writing individual codes. We will write a single code that will extract all insights at a time. Okay. How can we do that? Let's see here. I'm writing whatever the column that you want to extract, I'm writing as one list of columns. Okay, that is columns I'm mentioning as transaction ID. Next, user IDs. Next, category, right? Next, item ID also we can return. How many unique items are there, right? Next, category is there, right? Category. We can do anything, but the possible ways that we can find here, these are the few columns, right? Now we can see here, these are the columns. I'm just creating as a list of column. Okay. For I in columns, so if I is existing in that particular column, what we have to return? We have to print out, what we have to print out? All, like these are the functions, right? I mean, how many customers are there? How many unique customers are there? I mean, like what are the unique customers? We have to return, right? So similarly, how can we return here? I'm just taking string function, writing number of, first one, I'm just returning number of all columns, right? So here I'm just considering each item as I, right? So I have to just call it as I. Okay, I, number of I's. Okay, so what it has to return? It has to return the value of it, right? That means for each customer data of this particular column, right? So what is the inside? That is count, right? So this is what we have to return. Now you can see here, if I execute, it's going to return some error. What is this error? Transaction spelling mistake, right? You can see. So we have to debug it. Now you can see here, we are returning number of transaction, that is 100. Number of user IDs 100. Number of items 100. Number of categories 100. Why it is returning like this? Because of it is considering all duplicates also. Each line it is going to consider. That's why it is returning 100. Right? So we have to return each distinct, I mean each uniques, and also what are they, right? So that is why I'm going to return print of f of number of uniques, right? Now you can see I'm writing unique those particular column. Okay, I'm just writing customer underscore data of I, because of we are considering I, right? Each column name is I. Okay, what we have to return now? We have to return n unique, right? Now what is this error? So we have to close this code now. Now you can see we are getting number of transactions are 100, number of unique transaction IDs are 100, number of user IDs are 100, and then you can see now here what we are getting. We are getting number of unique user IDs, right? Number of items, and then number of unique item IDs, and number of categories, number of unique categories, right? So this is how we can return total number of and unique number of, right? Now we will see what are they. How can we return what are the unique? By writing only unique, right? Number of, not number, only unique, right? Unique each columns, right? Now you can see customer data of those particular column, and we have to return only unique. Okay, now I have to close this one. Now you can see here what we are getting now. So number of transaction IDs are 100, number of unique transaction IDs are 100, and what are those unique? These are the unique transactions, right? So similarly, number of users are 100, but unique users are 43, and what are those? You can see these are the unique user IDs, right? So I'm just going to mention here slash n, you can see we'll be getting some space, right? So even if you want to have double space also, you can see now we are getting for each column we are differentiated, right? Now you can observe carefully, number of transaction IDs are 100, number of uniques also 100, and what are those? These are the 100 transactions, right? So similarly, number of users are there. Normally 100 users are there, but unique users are 43 only, right? And they are going to purchase again and again, so that's why it is coming as 100. Okay, and what are the unique users are there? These are the unique user IDs. So similarly, our total items are 100, but total unique items are only 19, and they are going to, customers are going to purchase again and again, right? So that's why it is considered as 100. Okay, but only 19 different items are there. And what are those? You can see these are the unique items. Okay, number of categories are 100 but not unique. Only 5 unique categories are there, and they are going to repeat again and again. Okay, and what are those? You can see here, these are the 5 unique categories, right? So this is how we can do a basic extraction by basic insights from this particular data, right? Now if you observe the data, so what else we can do now? We have transaction IDs, users, and purchase dates, right? And item ID. Next, quantity of purchased, right? Item price, category, and discount, right? So this discount is for each transaction ID is mentioned, not for each particular item, right? So from this, what we can find next? We can find the total amount that each transaction takes place, right? You can see now we have to return the total transaction by multiplying item price with quantity of purchase, right? So we can return one more column as total purchase amount, right? Now you can see here. How can we return another column? By writing extra, by mentioning another column like total purchase amount. Okay, this is another column. How can we return this? So we have to return this by multiplying quantity of purchase from the given data frame, customer data. Now we can see what we have to consider. We have to consider quantity of purchase multiplied with item price, right? You can see we have to multiply with each item price with total quantity of purchase, right? Now I'm just considering data and this one, this column, right? So we are extracting one more column as total purchase amount for each transaction IDs, right? Customer data of quantity purchased with multiplication of those particular item price. Okay, now you can see it got executed. Customer will see this data. Now you can see here, this is the total purchase amount. How it is returned? The total purchased quantity multiplied with item price. You can see 178 multiplied to how much? That is 356, right? You can see this is the exact value, right? Here only one quantity is there, and thus that amount is 127, right? So that's why you are getting 127. So similarly, each transaction IDs and these respective total purchase amount we are returned, right? Now there is one more column like discount is there, right? Discount is also available. Now we can see this discount already given in the percentage, right? Percentage are directly given, right? So how can we get this? So by multiplying with this discount with 100, we can get that in percentage, right? We can do that, right? Customer underscore data of, or else we can also, even if you want to rename also, we can do that, but not required now, right? So even just here, how can we return the actual amount that each transaction has to pay, right? That is 1 minus this discount multiply with this total purchase amount, right? That is the actual amount that we have to pay for each transaction. I mean, each transaction has to pay, right? Now we can do directly, right? That is actual amount payable. Okay, this is the column that we are going to extract as another column. How can we get return total purchase amount multiplied with 1 minus of discount, right? Now you can see customer underscore data of this particular column, right? Now in this column, I mean in this amount, what we have to return? We have to remove the discount, right? How much discount? That is 42%, right? 42% of this one, right? So that's why you can also do like this, like minus the same customer underscore data of this column, right? You are returning like multiplying this with 0 point, that is discount, right? Discount column, customer underscore data of discount, right? This is the way which we can do it, right? But I'm just taking here common of customer total purchase data, right? So if we common this, how can we get this? We will get this as multiply with 1 minus of customer data of discount, right? Now this is how we can return, right? Now you can see it got executed. Customer data, let's see here. You can see now this is the total purchase amount, but the actual amount payable is 206, right? So if you just remove 42% amount from this one, we will get this amount, right? So if you remove 36% of this amount, if we'll get this amount, right? So let's see that we'll just validate those values are correct or not. Okay, now we can see 356 minus of 356 into what we have to remove. We have to remove 0. This is the discount percentage, right? So from actual amount, this is the amount. Okay, we have to remove this one. Now you can see what we are getting, 206.48, right? So it is a rounding, because of here I'm not using decimals, right? 356.76 is there, right? Now you can see here it got again wrong values. We are getting 356. Okay, but approximately it is returning, right? I hope you understood. Now, even though if you consider 127.10 into minus 127.10, we have to, how much this is? 0.36, right? So this is the amount, 81.34, right? You can see the exact value, right? So similarly, these all are payable amount, okay? For each transaction IDs, these are for each transaction IDs, they are going to pay actual payable amount, right? So next, what we can extract? Next one, for each user IDs, because of all are different transaction IDs, right? So here, but the user IDs are repeating. So we can extract for each user ID, what is the total amount, actual payable amount, right? How can we return that? You can see now, we have to use group by, right? We have to use group by of each user ID, and we have to add all actual amount payable, right? Now you can see customer data of, what we have to do now, we have to group by this data frame with user ID, right? This user ID wise we have to group by. Okay, next, for which column we are going to find the total, that is total actual payable amount, right? This is the column. Okay, now you can see what we have to do now, we have to add all this actual payable amount for each user ID, right? So we have to use sum, right? Now you can see here we are getting for each user IDs and the total amount, actual payable amount, right? You can say that total actual or else total payable for each customer ID spending amount, all right? Now you can see how many customers are there, total of 43, right? Now we can see here I'm just using converting this into data frame format. Now you can see total of 43 customers are there. You can see total of 43, 0 to 42, total of 43 customers and the total payable or spending amount, right? Now you can see this is the column name, right? Now I'm just ordering this data in descending order. Okay, how can we return that? Sort underscore values of by, this is the column, right? Okay, now if you do this, by default it's going to return in ascending order, right? So we have to mention explicitly like ascending equal to false if you want to return in reverse order. You can see now it is in reverse order, right? Now even if you want to return the highest top any number of users who spend highest amount, right? You can see if I ask top 5 users who spend more amount, how can we return that? We'll just use head, right? You can see now if I use head, that's going to return the top 5 customers who spend more amount, right? These are the 5 customers who spend the highest amount, right? So this is how we can extract one more insight. Okay, next, what else we can do now? Here we have different categories also there, right? So we have different categories, so we can also find each category wise total amount, right? Total, we can consider this is a payable amount if we consider from user side, right? So if we consider from the organization, I mean industry side, they are going to consider this as purchase, right? Purchase amount or selling amount, right? For each category, how many sales are happening, how much revenue that each category got generated, right? Now we can see that data, customer data of, we have to group by of what category, right? category, what we are going to return total sales amount for each category, right? This is the total amount that each category is total here, total purchase amount. This is actual amount payable, right? Now you can see this is the only amount that each category will generate the sales, right? Now what we have to return, we have to add sum. Now you can see each category and the total sales amount, right? Even though here you'll see that's data for me. Now you can see here. So this is these are the insight that we can extract for each category and the total sales amount, right? Even if you want to sort this in any order, we can do that. Sort underscore values of by equal to actual amount payable. Okay. Now you can see here we are getting the highest to lowest one. The highest one is groceries got highest number of sales. I mean highest purchase sales, right? I mean sales, right? This is the sales amount, right? Next one books. Next one followed by remaining. Okay. This is how we can extract one more insight. I mean category wise total amount, that is total sales amount, right? Next one we can see now here we are finding customer wise and category wise individually, right? So we can also combine those two. I mean for each customer in each category also we can find it, right? How can we do that? We have to keep group by of both user IDs and categories, right? Customer data dot group by of category and user IDs, right? What we are going to return? We are going to return the total sales amount. For example, if it is considered as a category wise, that is the total sales amount. If you consider from user side, that is as total payable amount, right? What we have to do now? We have to use sum. What is this error? You can see here we are using group by of two columns, right? So as and when if you are using multiple columns in group by, we have to keep that as list of columns. Okay. Now you can see we are getting it, right? So but not in a data frame format, right? So to do that, I mean to return as in data frame, we'll just use reset underscore index. Okay. Now you can see here each category wise, each customer wise, this is the total amount, right? So here if you observe how many, this is the combination, right? So this user can also come here because of the same user can purchase different items in different categories, right? So this is how we can return each customer and category wise, this is the total amount. Okay. Now you can also return for the top 5 customers in each, you can see here each category also we can return. Okay, that means you can observe here each category there are some customers are there and this is the amount, right? In this amount we can return only those particular top 5 customers in each category. Okay, how can we return that? You can see now I'm just considering this as this is the category wise, category and user wise, right? I'm just writing as category and user wise. Okay, now if I call this is the data. Okay, now what I have to return, I have to return the top 5 categories, I mean top 5 users in each category, right? Now you can see I'm just considering this is the data frame but group by of category, right? So each category I have to return the top 5, right? So how can we do this? Here I have to use lambda function. How can we return here? Applying of lambda, taking any variable and that variable is here. I'm just considering this as x dot n largest of, so we are returning the top 5, right? So that's why we have to return 5 comma which column we are going to consider, that is actual amount payable, right? So this is the amount, right? So this is the column we are returning. We are just applying this function, lambda function. How we are returning the top five values of this particular column, right? Now you can see, I mean this is the data frame, right? So there are users are there and these users each category wise we are returning top 5. Okay, top 5 amounts. Now you can see if I execute this one, we are returning for each category wise only 5 only, right? You can see the n largest will return the highest one. If you return here 3, that's going to return, if you observe here all are 5, right? 5 customers we are return. If you mention 3, it's going to return top 3. You can see now top 3, you can see those values also, right? So if you want to mention that in a data frame, you can see I'm just refreshing, I mean refreshing index. You can see now why we are getting this one, cannot insert category already existing, right? You can see now already we are returning something like indexes are like categories are coming, right? So we can see drop equal to true. Now we can see we are not getting it, right? And before that, if we not used drop equal to true, that means it is returning each category as index. So that's why it is not returning, right? So we have to ensure that we have to drop it. Now you can see here for each category, top 3 customers we are returning, right? So you can see now this is very important question that most of the interviewers are asking. So each category we are returning the highest one, right? I hope you understood. Okay. Next, what else we can return? You can see now. What else? What are the insights that we can return? These are the reports that we can generate from the given data. Okay. Now you can see here what else we can return. Here there is a date column is right. So we can return any particular month wise, day wise, or year wise. We can return that data also. But before that, we need to ensure that the data type of this particular column has to be in date type. Right. Let's see what is the date time. I mean, what is the data type of this particular column? Okay. How can you do that? If you just use info, you can see now. So each column and their data types also you can see. So this purchase date in object format, right? So in order to compare with day values, I mean to compare with any integers values, right? So we need to convert this into date type first, and then we can easily compare those values. Okay, how can we do that? So we have to convert this particular column, that is purchase date, right? So this we are going to convert into to underscore. You can see now I'm just using this one customer. Okay, I'm just raising uh, okay, sorry, pd dot to underscore date time of this particular customer data of this particular column. Okay, this is how we can convert a given object into date time. Okay, now you can see executed, right? Now we'll see customer underscore data dot info. Now if you observe here, the purchase date in object format, and we converted that into date type format, and this is the object in string format. This actually is a string, right? So we cannot compare with the values, it will return some error. So that's why we need to ensure that those particular column has to be in date type, then only we can compare easily, right? Now you can see here, how can we return customer underscore data dt dot month. Now you can see what we are returning. Okay, so we are returning dt.month from this data frame, right? So this data frame we are collecting, not for particular column. So that's why it is returning error, because of there are a lot of columns are there. How can we return date? I mean month from any all columns. So that's why it is returning as error, right? So we have to ensure we have to return month from those particular column, that is purchase date. Okay. Now you can see here we are getting, I mean we extracted all months, right? Even if you want to filter out the data, you can see here if I use 4, that's going to return trues or false. Why it is returning here? We have to compare with these 4, right? So this has to be double equal, right? Now you can see we are getting false and trues, right? So if we apply this condition to our given data, we will be returning only those particular records where the month has to be 4, right? Now you can see if I apply this particular condition to this particular data frame, you can see now we are getting all 4 months records. You can see now these are the transaction details for only this month, 4th month, right? So similarly you can use here whatever you want. You can see now if I use 6 also, it's going to return those particular. Okay, I'm just changing here 6. You can see now all are 6 months transaction details. So similarly, even if you want day also, you have to use day equal to 6. Okay, here also you have to use day equal to 6. Now if I execute this query, you can see returning trues or false. But here you can see now this is 4th month 6th date, 4th month 6th date, 8th month 6th date, 5th 6, right? You can see all 6th date transaction details, right? So even if you want to know the less than 6 also, you can see now we will get 2 6 for this month. I mean 7th month 2, right? 4th month 6. You can see all values would be less than 6 only, less than or equal to 6, right? So similarly, if you want 2 also, you can see now all are 2 or 1. So whatever the month, so it should be in each month or whatever the possible transactions are there, in those transactions it's going to return the second day or the first day, only the less than or equal to 2. So similarly you can do anything. Okay, this is how we can return. Okay, now here one more thing, even if you want to return the year also, you can see now 2024. Okay, you can see all are returning 100 records because of all details from 2023 only, right? Let's see here. If I use 2024, it's not returning anything, right? Even if I use 2022 also, it's not returning anything. All data is from 2023 dates on. Okay, now you can see this is the 2023 dates. Okay, this is how we can return any particular transaction details for each month, day, or year wise. Okay, now here we are not returning as any extra column, right? So even if you want to return as extra column also, we can do that, but it's a unnecessary, right? Okay, this is how we can do. I mean, we can extract any reports we want, or we can explore any insights we can. I mean, we can extract any insights. Okay, but they are going to ask you a few questions. Okay, but I covered many. I hope you understood. Okay, thank you for watching.